G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Fly Fishing in Nature's Realm. Now in this edition I'm going to be tying another fly due to the lockdown. So let's tie this fly for this edition of Fly Fishing in Nature's Realm. Now the fly in question is called the reverse spinner, and it is a ripper of a pattern. Now, as the title of the fly suggests, the hackle is tied at the bend of the hook and the tail is at the eye of the hook. So it's in the complete reverse of what a normal dry fly is. Now, when we cast a normal dry fly, and this applies to rivers, the benefits of having a reversed spinner, or it could be a caddis, it could be a midge, it could be any insect whatsoever. The advantage is in a river, when an insect, say it's laying its eggs, lands on the surface, it is always facing upstream. Now when we cast our fly upstream with a normal dry fly, it isn't in that natural position. So by reversing, putting the hackle at the bend and the tail at the eye, the fly will land in the upstream position just like the natural. And that's the great idea behind putting the hackle in that position. I don't know who developed or had that idea. It's probably been around for a couple of 100 years. I'm not too sure. I don't know who developed it, but whoever did, it was really thinking about it, because if you watch a natural insect, it's saying set the water in the upstream position. Now the fly in question is a spinner fly, or a mayfly spinner. Now I know I always tie mayfly flies and spinners, but it's always great to have a whole host of different patterns for the spinner, the dun, the emerging nymph, and a normal nymph, and any sort of like variations or any ideas that can improve your fly are great to have in your fly box, and this is one of them. Now I tie this spinner pattern with the reversed hackle with deer hair, orange deer hair, and with the deer hair I have a number of different colours to match the different species of mayfly, the different species of caddis, midge, and so on. So deer hair is what we will need, and another requirement for this fly. So the materials we will need, we'll put that up above me right now, and as you can see, we can now pause the computer, write down the materials we'll need, and we're ready to tie this fly. Now the hook we'll need, we will need a size 14 up-eye hook. That is the recommended hook for this fly, and 6/0 orange fly tying thread. Now we start tying our thread in the normal position at the eye, and we'll tie that on. And then cut away the surplus there, and then advance towards the bend of the hook. Now we will come back towards the eye of the hook. We just need a nice layer of fly tying thread to make everything nice and stable. Alright, next requirement is, as I said, the orange deer hair. And when you do get the orange deer hair, make sure that you have the longest length you can find in the deer hair. This one here has got a good length of deer hair, and what I'll do is I'll grab myself a bunch and I'll cut it right at the base, giving me the maximum length. Now next thing we'll need is a deer hair stacker. Now deer hair stackers, if you're a beginner and you don't know much about fly fishing, that's what a deer hair stacker is, or you can have a number of different forms of deer hair stackers. This is one made of brass and comes into two sections. Alright, so What we do is we put the two sections together, we place it in to the hole there, push it down a little bit, and then what we do is we tap it. And what that does, it gets all the fibres nice and even. And all we do now is we take the top section away from there, and then we take out our deer hair, which will be all nice and even, or almost. You know, there's still some short sections in there which we can take out. So as you can see, you want to have the right amount of fibres. You don't want to have, just to make it perfect, that's probably about as much as we will need. And what we do now is we judge the length of the fibres and we will tie them in. And actually I can feel it a bit too thick. Yeah, so let's take them out there. Okay. Now, judge the actual length of the tail, or to what you favour. And then we will tie that in, not too tightly. And we advance the actual thread towards the bend of the hook, just a little bit for the start, and then we go back to where our tying point is, and then we will now create the extended body. Now when we do this, it is a bit fiddly, can be difficult, but with practice it'll come to you and you'll be able to do it quite easily. It takes a little bit of time, a bit of mucking around, but the finished product is fantastic. So what we do is we grab those fibres and we want to make sure that we've got it just below the eye of the hook there. And grab the fibres and we wrap. And this is the secret, is to making sure we've got all the fibres there, and then we wrap the thread and then wrap the thread. Down to the bend. Alright, and when we're in that position, this is where we tie in the hackle. So select yourself a good quality genetic hackle in the red brown, and we tie that in. And we only go as far as what size hackle we're going to, or the thickness of the hackle. So let's create the hackle of the dry fly. Spiral that around. And then tie it off. Cut away the surplus. And if we've got some fibres out the front, you can leave them if you want. They could also imitate the part of the insect, but let's snip that away, make it look a bit neater. Now we tie in the body hackle, and this is simply to do that, to tie in the body hackle, all we do is select the feather that is a lot smaller in its diameter, and then we will tie that right next to the hackle there. Nice and secure. Sometimes pays to bring it up further, so it's right up against there. And then advance down towards the eye of the hook. Alright, now it's just a matter of tying the body hackle. And when we do tie the body hackle, we don't want it to be as tight as the main hackle. So we just do probably about 4 turns. So we do, we'll probably go once around there like that, and then 1 turn, 2 turns, and then, well, I only need to do 3. And then tie that off. Cut away the hackle. Got a stray bit there. And then go behind the extended body to where the eye is, and then a few wraps around there just to put it in that position and to clear away the eye there of any material. And when you do tie your leader, you'll have to manipulate that tail back, put the leader through and tie it on, and there'll be no problems. Alright, so all we do now is we take our whip finishing tool and we whip finish the fly. You have to get that right in past the eye there. Yeah, tie it off like so. And then cut away the fly tying thread. And there we have the reverse spinner. So as you can see, we've got a few fibres there at the top that we can actually snip away to make it a better length, or a perfect length, if you know what I mean by that. There we go. And just a little bit more nail varnish. And there we have the reverse spinner. Now it's a great fly, and the idea behind putting the hackle at the bend and not at the eye of the hook is a really good one, let me tell you. So yeah, the mayfly hatch is coming up around November. Hopefully we'll be out of lockdown then, and we'll be able to go fishing just in time for the mayfly. If we're lucky, I don't know, geez, you just don't know what's happening there. It's crazy. And take some of these with you guys. I can tell you right now, you'll have a lot of success with this fly. Till next time, everyone. See you later.